what if the most powerful weapon against cancer wasn't some new drug, but something that's already inside of us, just waiting for the right signal to attack? Well, today we're diving into this incredible breakthrough from the University of Southampton that could do exactly that, supercharge our body's own defenses to fight back. Okay, so let's start with a big question. We know our immune system is this amazing, sophisticated defense force, right? It's capable of hunting down and destroying cancer cells. So what's the deal? Why isn't it a guaranteed win every single time? What's holding it back? To answer that, we've got to properly meet the heroes of this story, the soldiers on the front lines of our internal army. Everybody, meet the T cells. The source material calls them the special forces of our immune system, and honestly, that's the perfect way to put it. These are the elite operatives, the commandos, specifically trained to identify and eliminate all kinds of threats, from a common cold all the way to rogue cancer cells. They are our absolute frontline defenders. But here's the catch. Even the most elite special forces can be held back. And the problem? It often comes down to something really simple, but totally critical: a breakdown in communication, a really weak signal. So here's kind of how it works. On the surface of every single T cell, you've got these little things called CD27 receptors. The easiest way to think of them is like a light switch. Now, to flip that switch into attack mode, it needs a very specific key to turn it on. Now, when you get a normal infection, your body naturally produces the perfect key. It slots right in, the CD27 switch gets flipped all the way on, and the T cell gets a loud, crystal clear signal to attack. But with cancer, that's where things get tricky. That key is often missing, or the signal it sends is just incredibly weak. The switch barely flickers. It just doesn't get activated properly. And without that strong, clear go signal, the T cells, well, they just can't mount a full-scale assault. They're left with this weak, kind of pathetic response, which allows the cancer to just keep on growing totally unchecked. But what if you could essentially hotwire that switch? What if you could force it on? Well, that is exactly what this breakthrough from the University of Southampton is all about. And they're doing it with a new, specially engineered 4-pronged antibody. You see, our current antibody therapies often try to do this. You can think of them like a master key. They're usually these Y-shaped molecules, and they only have 2 prongs. That means they can only grab 2 of those CD27 switches at a time. And as it turns out, that's often just not powerful enough to really get the job done. The solution here is so simple, but it's totally revolutionary. Instead of 2 prongs, this new antibody has 4 prongs. And that means it gets a much stronger, much more secure grip on the T cell's activation switches. So how exactly does just having a stronger grip manage to amplify that weak little attack signal into something powerful? This is where it gets really clever. It happens in a few quick steps. First, those 4 prongs grab a whole bunch of CD27 receptors on the T cell surface. Then, and this is really cool, the antibody actually recruits a second helper cell to come over. Working together, they force all those receptors into a super tight cluster, and that action powerfully amplifies that weak signal into an unmistakable, deafening attack command. It's like the cancer is whispering, right? And the T cell can barely hear it. This new antibody basically comes in, grabs the volume knob on the T cell's attack signal, and just cranks it all the way up to 11. That whisper becomes an absolute roar. And hey, this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. The results they're seeing in the lab are incredibly promising. They're really showing how we can unlock so much more of our own immune system's potential. So this research, it was published in the journal Nature Communications, which is a huge deal, by the way, and it was tested on both human immune cells in the lab and in mice. The results? They were crystal clear. This new approach was way more effective at firing up T cells and delivering a powerful anti-tumor response compared to the old-school antibodies. I mean, you can really see the difference here. The response you get from a standard 2-pronged antibody, it's moderate, it's okay. But the response you get from the new 4-pronged antibody, it's robust, it's powerful, it is a massive leap forward in activation. The study lead, Professor Ayman Al-Shamkhani, he put it perfectly. He said, this approach could help improve future cancer treatments by allowing the immune system to work closer to its full potential. You know, it's all about just taking off the brakes and letting our bodies do what they were actually designed to do in the first place. So the big question this whole thing leaves us with is this. are we looking at the blueprint for a whole new generation of cancer therapies? One where we don't just fight the disease, but we actually empower our own bodies to win the war. It's a pretty exciting thought.